Good morning, everyone. This is Erika with Aurora Heart Healing, coming with more information on how to become emotionally aware. And I want to start this off by reading a quote that I read that was so impactful for me when I've heard this in various times in my life, but today it's just really resonating with me. And it is, if you don't heal what hurt you, you will bleed on people who did not cut you. And if you really take that into an introspective place, how many times do we lash out on people and they didn't cause that original wound? They weren't the ones that originally hurt us, made us feel neglected, or made us feel unworthy, or whatever the case may be. All of those different feelings usually stem from something different. And when we really look at the root of why we feel the feelings that we feel, we actually start to see patterns or different reasons why we react in the ways that we do. Being a survivor of domestic violence and that type of trauma, I know deep inside that there's a lot of times where I will recoil. And it's not that I'm not physically safe, but it's a reaction to something in the past. If there's something that flies by really quickly, I'll get startled really easily. And I've noticed that within myself, my awareness of where that comes from, because the abuse didn't just happen in my old relationship. It actually happened as well in my family dynamics. My parents were abusive to each other as well. Understanding, knowing, and learning that has actually helped me not repeat that pattern of being in abusive relationships, because I was the pattern. And when I realized, oh, these are the reasons why I'm allowing this abuse, that is when I could move forward and dissolve that generational pattern of abuse. And I can say with confidence that I don't think my daughters would ever allow someone to place hands on them and them to continue to go back. And that took confidence, that takes confidence and self-awareness. And I am not going to knock anyone that is in, there's no judgment, that has been in or is in an abusive relationship, because I've been there. There is a psychological trauma that causes us to want to continue to be in that relationship. And the one thing that I noticed when I was going to therapy was the therapist that I was seeing at the time for the domestic violence never had experienced that themselves. And they came in with a lot of judgment about why I stayed and what was making me continuously go back. And like I said, I do not judge any of that from you, for you, if you are in that relationship. Because in all honesty, there is something deep inside you that has hurt you enough to stay in a relationship that hurts as much as it does. And moving forward, I would like to go back to how to build emotional awareness. And this is something that is very near and dear to me, because I did not know how to navigate emotions. I was a numbaholic. Anything that happened, I would shut down, recoil, close off, And I was so scared of voicing what I felt. It was like, it was almost like I was going to die. The fear that came from talking about the way I felt like I was experiencing many deaths constantly. And aside from a broken heart, an emotion cannot kill us, but we can perceive it as that fearful. And the more that we start to really recognize how emotions affect us when they show up, the easier that we can navigate through those challenging, really tough times that we do not want to overreact or underreact or just plain leave our body. A lot of people in this world, they just withdraw their spirit from their body when they are in that pain. And that not just hurts you, the person that is withdrawing, it also hurts the people around. Goes back to that, if you don't heal what hurt you, you will bleed on people who didn't cut you. And that goes back to that saying, because it is something that is so fundamental and important to know. If this is hurting me, how am I hurting others through this? A realization for me has been really feeling needy and wanting to fix things. How can we fix it? How can we make this better? To a certain degree, we all want things to be better, especially if there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of discord. But also, how was that smothering others? Possibly smothering others? Was that creating a safe space for people to come? And then vice versa, of course, were those people, or were all of the dynamics feeling safe initially to be able to open up and talk about things? Don't know, but in your life, how does that show up? Do you feel vulnerable enough to say, this is how I'm feeling right now? And that vulnerability, you can draw people in by saying, I just need to be held. I need to be comforted. And that's it. And with that, I thought about it yesterday. And when I posted the video, I thought about how when I first started practicing my emotional awareness, how much resistance sometimes I would feel in releasing the emotion. So that resistance sometimes can be there's multiple emotions. Sometimes it can be that there is an underlying belief that is surrounding that emotion. And for very in-depth sessions, you can always book with me. I will put my information in the description and in the comments so that you can go ahead and schedule a session with me, and you can really experience what it is like to connect to emotions that you may not be seeing yourself. And that's okay. We all have blind spots. Every single one of us, even me. My question for myself was, how am I not showing up? What emotions or trapped energies are not allowing me to show up authentically? And I still know that there was more. So I asked, are there any blind spots? And I got a total yes in my heart and my soul. Yes, there are blind spots that I need to look at that I'm not totally sure how to, which is why reaching out to community, having a support system is so vitally important to building emotional awareness. And who are you listening to? I will listen to people that either have gone through something similar and have had the end results that I would like to have: compassion, kindness, love. I've listened to, when I was struggling with personal things, I was listening to people that have gone through it, gone to the other side, and still remained grounded and loving through the process. Because when we talk to someone that's bitter and angry and frustrated, what is going to be mirrored back to us? What are we receiving through those people that don't have hope for the future, think that love is a lost cause, or think that, well, I'll just move on to the next and replace? Some relationships are worth saving. And having the realization and understanding which ones are and are not is super important too. And how do we know that? By being in tune with what we feel deep inside, to the core, who we are and what we feel. So with that, I am going to find through my list of emotions. If you've not seen my my last YouTube video, these are all different emotions. It's about 16 pages of emotions that we feel. They are energies that happen within our body. And I am going to intuitively find which emotions are going to resonate with you the most. It's going to be what is a little bit more resistant, so we can work towards clearing that. And then let me know in the comments below what you experienced, because I want to know, did you have resistance? Did you feel a shift in your energy field when you cleared it? Was there lightness? Was there heaviness? Did you cry? Did you connect with the emotion? Did you connect with an experience that was regarding the emotion? So give me 1 second. I am going to find which emotions we're going to work on today. The emotion is self-abuse. And I'm going to read you the definition of self-abuse. I think that it really helps each of us understand how each emotion shows up in our lives and what it means. Self-abuse is the self is the object of the abuse. This can come in many ways. Masturbation, to mistreat the body by use of addictive substances, to not care for the body by lack of sleep, proper diet or nutrition, to work beyond what one can or should do or endure, to punish or tax oneself excessively. Self-abuse. No offense or anything, but to anyone that uses substances to abuse or numb the way that they feel. But isn't that definition such an impactful definition? The self is the object of the abuse. To mistreat your body by use of addictive substances. Well, why is that a mistreatment of our body? Can we ask ourselves why? Let me know what you think. To me, in my perspective, we're abusing our body by using different substances because we are trying to leave the actual emotion that we are feeling. Say you eat 10 candy bars and you don't know why. Maybe you had a rough day and this day has been compiled by 10 rough days, and you haven't tapped into yourself, into your being, into your energetic field, and said, I am upset because I feel resentful. So I'm abusing myself. And that self-abuse, taxing ourselves excessively. I've known people that go to the gym 4 hours a day and not an ounce of fat on their body, and they still cannot let up. Taxing oneself excessively. Not caring for body by lack of sleep. Well, I'll be the first to say, when through these last couple of weeks, when I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm trying to sleep, there can be underlying causes as to why we're not sleeping as well. But that's okay, because as you continue to work through things, these emotions are the reason why what we feel. But the symptoms that show up physically begin to be alleviated as you continue to build your self-awareness. I was diagnosed with depression and early stages of fibromyalgia in my late 20s, when I had my 2 kids. My feet felt like every time I would step on the ground, like hot nails were being driven through my feet. I was a server. Can you imagine how much pain being a waitress, serving all these different people, walking on my feet all day was? When I noticed that my symptoms were gone was about 3 months into me becoming an emotion code practitioner. The no will, and this is the body code portion, no will to live was an emotion and an energy that I continuously released. I released about 6 to 10 maybe through the 3 to 6 month period. I woke up one day and I jumped out of bed because I was feeling much better than I ever had before. The depression had been alleviated, even after medication and all the things that I tried to do, talk therapy, and nothing had worked. And I had this huge realization that when I put my feet on the floor, it didn't hurt. And I was shocked. I was like, what's happening? And I stomped my feet on the floor, which that usually would have caused me to jump out of my skin because of the pain, and nothing. And for a long time, I was keeping a log of all of the emotions and energies that I had notebooks filled with all of this information, which I at one point was like, I'm just holding on to something I don't want to, so I let it go. But throughout that time, I went through and I saw how many no will to live energies were living within my body. And I was shocked because in the description of the course that I took, it said no will to live energy can affect the feet. How is it affecting my feet? Hurt, pain. So we're going to go back to self-abuse, okay? I want you to now, we're going to connect into our body, and we're going to ground ourselves into our skin, into our body, because when we feel overwhelming emotions, sometimes our default is to leave it by drinking, smoking, partying, or even just saying, I can't feel this right now, and stepping away from the way that we feel, which is literally the definition of self-abuse. Saying we're not important enough to take that moment to care about what we feel and who we are. So nice deep breath. Feeling that breath circulate through your whole entire body. If it helps you, breathe through your heart or hold your heart. Our hearts are the most important supercomputer in our whole entire life. It literally navigates the world for us. And really connecting deeply into your heart. Breathing out, breathing in through your heart. Breathing out through your heart. Self-abuse. 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 Notice how it feels in your body to say those words. For me, I feel a deep heaviness in my chest. Self-abuse. Some of you might feel kind of a heady, bloaty feeling. Self-abuse. Breathing in through your nose, into your heart space, and out through your chest. Remembering to lean into the feeling. Lean into it. If you can, share some liquid gold or light to that space that's hurting, that self-abuse. You can gently release it. If you're finding resistance, I am going to help find any type of emotions that could be entangled with that self-abuse. The emotion that I'm getting for the collective here right now is unsupported. Felt a lack of help or encouragement, without a base, unable to bear, withstand, or hold up for lack of support. Not provided for by another, unable to perform or lead for lack of supporters. Unsupported and self-abuse. Take a moment to breathe in through your heart space. Some of you might be feeling some tension. This is good. Tension is like building a muscle. The tension grows us, my friends. It helps us begin to become more self-aware of what discomforts there are that are living within us. So unsupported. Is there any other emotions that we need to know about these two? Okay, so self-abuse and unsupported. Pushing yourself beyond your limits because you don't have people that support you, or you feel like you don't have people that support you. Because a lot of times we can feel one way, but the reality is a different one. Our emotions navigate how they're how we navigate the world. So I can say I'm unsupported, but I have children that absolutely love me. And if I'm crying, they say it's okay to not be okay. And they go and they give me a hug. I have friends that reach out to me in the biggest struggles of my life. Even the person that I'm disconnecting from has been supportive in what we're doing and how we're communicating, and leading with kindness, compassion, and love. All of those are support. And when we step back and think, why am I feeling unsupported? So what could that be within you? And I'm not saying everything's your fault, because I think that a lot of people can default to, you're saying this is my fault. No. What I'm saying is, how have you felt unsupported within your life? Maybe this root comes from your parents that didn't talk to you about the way that you felt. Maybe this root comes from you telling yourself what you wanted did not matter. and you were not supportive of your own needs, wants, perspectives, beliefs. And in that sense, you abused yourself and you pushed yourself away and you said, you don't matter. Take a moment, feel into that, lean into that emotion of self-abuse and that unsupported. Take a deep breath in through your heart, out through your solar plex on the out. Allowing that power center to be activated within you, saying, I want to move through this. I am activating my power, my energy field to say, I want to let this go in my life because I don't like how it's showing up. And as you continue to notice, some of you might start to feel alleviated. There might be a little bit of tension at first. Yes, tension is good. Remember, we are working through that tension. We are untangling what self-abuse and unsupported meant to you in your life. You are connecting. You might get images of when you felt unsupported and how you abused yourself through that. Another breath in, another breath out. Are you feeling a little bit of that tension release? And if not, focus on sending love, light, prayers into that space where it hurts. Another deep breath in and out. Imagining that that golden light, that golden liquid light is filling those spaces with love, understanding, compassion, because we're not beating ourselves up for that self-abuse or unsupported. That would be the opposite of what this practice is. We are loving ourselves through it. It is okay to not be okay. Being a human is hard. It is not easy all the time. Like, there's a lot of really great parts to it. There's beauty in being human, but there's also struggle and growth. Okay, for many of you, you're starting to feel that alleviation. If you're sticking with it, amazing job. I'm so proud of you for facing something that can be very difficult to face, and that is our feelings and what we've carried inside and what we've carried inside from this lifetime, other lifetimes, past lifetimes, whatever you believe. Please let me know in the comments how you feel after that. Were you able to release it? Was there still some more tension? What I'm generally feeling is that most, if not all of you, were able to couple those two emotions of self-abuse and unsupported to be able to relieve that anxiety, that tension inside. And I'm hoping that this helped you gain a different perspective, a deeper realization within yourself. Okay. I'm getting that I don't need to work on any other emotions right now. These two were pretty big, and a lot of people are going to really resonate and connect with that self-abuse and that unsupported. And I hope that if you had trouble with these, schedule your connection call, schedule your session. I will help you. I am here to support you on your healing journey. If you do not want to accept the diagnosis of fibromyalgia in your feet, and you know that there's something different that you can do to make your life better, if you are willing to say, how did I contribute to the way that I am living right now in my life, then I am the perfect guide for you. because I am not going to sugarcoat it and say nothing is your fault or you are not responsible for anything. I'm going to say, together, let's understand the emotional patterning that has created the life that you're living. I hope this was beneficial. Please share this with anybody that you think will benefit from this video. Any friends, family, share, like, subscribe so that you can see. And I'm going to be doing this daily. There's over 160 emotions that we can feel in our body. We all need to wake up to how to feel them. And I am here for you. I am a safe space and no judgment. I don't want to judge anyone for the way that they feel. If you connect to me and you cry, just know that I am the person that will pat you on the back and say, good job for feeling your feels and letting it go. With all the love, the kindness, the compassion that the universe as a collective can give us. Namaste. Bendiciones. I love you. Thank you for coming today.